How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Patriot DIY channel. Today is a day I've been waiting for a very long time. We're going to be making a very much needed upgrade to the shop. Now, I know a lot of you guys can feel my pain because it is hot, especially those of you that are like me. You're in the southeastern part of the country. It has been in the 90s every single day for the past month, and it makes it really difficult to get out in the shop and work on projects. But today we fix it, and we're going to fix it with a Mr. Cool DIY mini split. All right, guys, yes, we are going with the Mr. Cool DIY ductless mini split air conditioning system for the shop. The one I went with is a single stage system. I did go with the 36K version since I do have a pretty large shop. My shop is about 1,600 square foot total, and this system here is rated for about 1,500 square feet. So I think it is going to work out good for me. And what I love most about the Mr. Cool system is that it is the only true full DIY mini split system on the market. This is something that you can install yourself, and I'm going to be walking you through the whole process as I go along and do it myself. This system is going to come with the outdoor unit, the indoor unit, and what sets Mr. Cool apart from other mini split systems on the market, it comes with pre-charged refrigerant lines. What that means for you is that you don't have to hire an HVAC guy to come out, install this, charge your lines for you and all that. The lines are pre-charged, so all you have to do is hook them up. Now, Mr. Cool does have a lot of other great features like a wireless system that allows you to control it from an app on your smartphone. Now, the 36K system does require 240, but if you don't go with the big one, if you go with one of their smaller versions, that I believe they have a 12, 16, 18, you get a lot of different sizes. I believe a lot of those can operate off of 110. Just depends on what size you get. Now, before we get in here and start installing this thing, if you haven't done it yet, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. That really helps us out. Now, I've been sweating out here for way too long, and I'm ready to start pumping some nice cool air into here. So let's get started. The first thing I need to do, since I don't have traditional 16-inch on center studs, is I need to build out some studs to put onto the wall so we have somewhere to mount our indoor unit. I'm going to be using the template that Mr. Cool provides as a guide for placement for my studs. And then I'm going to put a piece of plywood over top of that so I have a nice flat area for our mounting plate. Then I'm going to use that cardboard template again to mark out the location of our mounting plate and the 3.5-inch hole that we're going to be drilling through the wall. Then I just need to fasten the mounting plate to the wall using the provided screws, making sure that we get into our studs. Now we're ready to go ahead and drill our 3.5-inch hole all the way through the wall for our refrigerant lines. For that, I'm just going to be using a hole saw. I'm going to start on the inside, and then once I have a center hole, I can go around to the outside using that center hole as a guide and go ahead and get all the way through the wall. Mr. Cool gives you a plastic sleeve that you can use to put through the wall. It does come extra long, so once you get it through the wall, you can go out and cut it down to size. Now I'm going to prepare the indoor unit to be mounted to the wall. The first thing we need to do is just straighten out our refrigerant lines. Now you want to be really careful when you're doing this and make sure you don't put any kinks in the line. Once I have those straightened out, I'm just going to use some electrical tape to hold everything together while we're pushing it through the wall. Now we can mount our indoor unit onto the wall. And this thing does have a little weight to it, so you want to be extra careful, especially if you're taking it up a ladder. But first I'm just going to start to feed those refrigerant lines through the wall. And your unit is going to hang on some tabs on the top of that mounting plate. So you just want to tilt it forward until you can hang it onto those tabs. And once you've checked the alignment, then you can just press down on the bottom and it should snap into place. And that's all we need to do for the indoor unit. Now I need to get the outdoor unit into place, and because I'm doing this by myself, I'm going to be using the tractor to pick it up and carry it around to our concrete pad. Now I did do a video on how I made this concrete pad. If you want to check that out, I will put a link to that right here at the top of the screen. Now first, I'm going to put it into place on the slab, and I'm going to mark the location of our holes that we need to drill into the slab to screw this down. To screw this down to the slab, I'm going to be using Tapcon screws and a hammer drill to pre-drill our holes. Then you want to put your unit back into place, and you want to use the rubber foot pads that Mr. Cool provides to put under those feet, and then we're just going to screw it down nice and snug. Now we're ready to connect our refrigerant lines, so we're going to go ahead and unroll this. Now you do want to be careful again not to kink it. We're just going to straighten out the length that we need. You're just going to need 2 adjustable wrenches to make that connection, and just make sure you don't cross thread it. Get it good and tight. Mr. Cool does recommend a torque spec for this, but really you just want to make sure you're getting it tight enough that you don't have leaks without over tightening it. Since the DIY unit comes with pre-charged lines, you're not able to cut these lines down to the length that you need. So any excess you have, you're just going to want to leave that coiled up, and you can hide it right back behind the unit. Now that I have everything laid out right where I need it, we'll go ahead and connect our refrigerant lines on the other end at the outdoor unit. Once everything's connected, you can open the end caps on the front of those valves, and you're going to use an Allen wrench to open up those refrigerant lines. You're just going to turn it counterclockwise as far as it'll go, and you'll be able to hear as that refrigerant is released into the unit. Once you have that done, you just replace the caps, and it is recommended that you use some soapy water to spray onto these connections just to check for bubbles and make sure you don't have any leaks. Once you're sure you don't have any leaks, Mr. Cool provides these anti-vibration pads that you're going to wrap around each of the connections so they don't vibrate against each other and make noise. Once you've done that, you want to replace the insulation over those lines. Then I'm going to connect our plastic drain pipe, and they give you plenty of drain pipe, so I'm going to go ahead and connect that up here. And we're gonna wrap the whole thing in UV tape to keep it nice and clean. Mr. Cool does also offer a cover kit that you can get to put on the outside to cover up these lines and just make it look a little nicer on the side of your house or your shop or wherever you're using this. I will put a link to that in the description below if you're interested in getting that as well. Now we're ready to connect the power cable that comes from the indoor unit. Now Mr. Cool has made this pretty much foolproof. Each of your wires is numbered, so all you have to do is connect the 1 with the 1, 2 with 2, and 3 with 3. And then they also have clearly marked green screws in there to connect your ground to. All right guys, we got our main power run now, and this is the one thing that I did not feel comfortable doing completely by myself. So I did have a professional come out and run the main power from the panel for me. This is 240, and you can see we have our transfer switch here on the wall, and then a flexible conduit that comes down and wires into our unit. All right guys, we have just a couple more things we need to do. There's a couple small air filters here we need to put in. Our smart USB air controller. This is going to allow us to operate and control our system from our smartphone. So once we plug this guy in, we should be able to control this unit from anywhere, which will be nice because I can start it up about 30 minutes before I come out here and get everything cooled down. All right guys, we should be ready to go. So we got our batteries in our remote here. Let's turn it on. Wow, now that is already blowing some ice cold air coming out of there. I cannot wait to see how good this does in the shop. The outdoor temperature right now is a nice toasty 100 degrees. The temperature inside our shop right now before cutting on the unit is 97. All right guys, now while the electrician was here, I decided to go ahead and make one other upgrade, and you can see right here behind me we have a new controller on the wall, and that is controlling our new ceiling fans we have in the shop. We went with 2 Ironton ceiling fans from Northern Tool. I will link to those in the description below. Those are nice big 56-inch diameter fans. Got them on full blast right now, and just those fans by themselves are already making a pretty big improvement here in the shop. All right guys, now we've had this unit pumping for about an hour now. We've already gone down from 95 down to 85, so it is doing its job. It is going to take a while to work its way down. I have it set on 76 right now, but it's working. It's blowing some ice cold air right now, and guys, I am loving it. All right, check it out guys. It did take a couple more hours to get down to temperature, but it is down to 78 degrees right now. That's a huge difference from that 97 when it was in here earlier. It's actually nice and comfortable in the shop. I couldn't be happier. All right guys, that is it for the install of our Mr. Cool DIY mini split system. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. And don't forget guys, we are going to link to this system in the description below if you want to get one for yourself. Thanks for watching guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and stay cool.